Your suite at the Sands Hotel came with more than just a key. It came with a legacy. Indeed, if you were to step into the lobby in 1955, you might find yourself sharing an elevator with Sinatra, picking up gossip at the bar from Dean Martin, or watching Sammy Davis Jr. rehearse in the Copa Room. Just envision it. The air would have crackled with possibility, perfumed with high-stakes winnings and ambition. In the simmering halls of the Sands Hotel, the city's mythology was forged night after night. Civil rights battles were quietly fought between blackjack hands, and corporate America would eventually declare victory over mob-run enterprises. Certainly, the Sands stood at the crossroads of American entertainment, politics, and social change for over 40 years. And yet, on a November morning in 1996, the dream would be permanently shattered. The iconic A-frame entrance, the intimate Copa Room where legends were born, the gaming floors where fortunes changed hands, all reduced to rubble in mere seconds as demolition charges thundered through the foundation. In today's episode of Old Money Mansions, we'll share the tale of how one hotel helped shape not just a city, but American culture itself, as we describe. Why Las Vegas's most opulent hotel was demolished. The Sands Hotel in Las Vegas wasn't just a hotel, it was the pulse of the town, where glamour and debauchery held hands under neon lights. Indeed, we can roll back to the glittering 1950s, where a desert mirage of splendor with an A-frame entrance didn't just beckon you in, it dared you. And inside, the lobby was a crash course in luxury. Marble floors glistening like they'd been polished by angels, crystal chandeliers casting a glow so flattering you'd want to buy stock in it, and walls of mirrors tricking you into believing the decadence was endless. Mid-century modern chic was the name of the game, and the Sands was playing to win. Rooms and suites carried the theme of too much is just right, with custom-designed furniture, plush carpets, and floor-to-ceiling windows that let you ogle the strip without needing to leave the comfort of your air-conditioned haven. This was the ultimate luxury in the desert. Private bars and 24-hour butlers in the top suites only underlined one fact. Here, you were royalty, or at least they made you feel like it. And at the heart of this oasis was the Copa Room. Forget stadium-sized monstrosities. This was an intimate 385-seat theater designed so meticulously that even a cough sounded like Sinatra's silky baritone. And the room's size meant stars weren't just performing. They were mingling with the audience, creating that electric charge that made the Rat Pack the stuff of legend. Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr. held court night after night, turning the Sands into an icon of cool. Forget Oscars. The Copa Room was where the real gold was won. Undoubtedly, it was Sinatra, chairman of the board himself, who made the Sands his playground, whether gambling until dawn or swaggering onto the Copa stage, leaving crowds spellbound. A night at the Sands wasn't just a night. It was an event, a ticket to the in-crowd, a glimpse into a world where money flowed like champagne and last call was a mere suggestion. Celebrities, politicians, and anyone with a bank account worth bragging about, all came to be part of Sinatra's entourage, even if they never left the casino floor. Speaking of the casino, imagine a floor alive with the charging of slot machines, cigarette smoke thick as fog, and the scent of wealth so palpable it practically stung your nostrils. Cocktail waitresses in pin-up attire navigated through throngs of hopeful gamblers, all looking for their next big win or their next refill. Beyond the glitter and games, the Sands catered to every indulgence. An Olympic-sized pool flanked by private cabanas provided a spot for basking in both the sun and your own self-importance, while gourmet restaurants served up dishes from across the globe. Bars and lounges turned deal-making into an art form, and even ordering a martini felt like a bold statement. As night fell, the Sands lit up like a beacon in the neon-soaked desert, every corner of it pulsing with life. It was here, under those dazzling lights, that the era's biggest stars reminded the world that sometimes reality is bigger than the movies. With a cast of icons like Judy Garland, Ella Fitzgerald, and even Marlene Dietrich gracing the stage, the Copa Room wasn't just hosting performances, it was making history. Antonio Morelli and his house band were practically part of the walls, creating sounds that filled the room like champagne fills a glass. They were the soundtrack to the heyday of Vegas itself, recording live albums that captured the essence of the town when it was still untamed, still wild. The Sands wasn't a mere hotel, it was an entire world. So what would make Sin City want to extinguish such a fantasy land, demolishing this dynamic desert kingdom to replace it with something new? To get our answer, let's roll back the clock a bit more and turn to the next chapter. In the vast emptiness of the Nevada desert, where natural springs once nourished patches of unexpected greenery, a city would rise that would transform not just the American West, but the very notion of what a city could be. The Spanish had called it Las Vegas, the Meadows, but the Meadows would soon be buried beneath concrete and neon, forgotten beneath the weight of ambition and enterprise. The railroad's land auction of 1905 seemed insignificant at the time, merely 110 acres sold in a remote desert outpost. Yet this modest beginning contained within it the seeds of something extraordinary. And for decades, Las Vegas remained little more than a whistle stop between Los Angeles and Salt Lake City. Its destiny was still uncertain, and its future was still unwritten. Then came 1931. As America sank deeper into the Great Depression, two events converged to alter Las Vegas's trajectory forever. First, the massive Hoover Dam project began, bringing thousands of workers to this remote corner of Nevada. They were mostly men, young and lonely, their pockets filled with regular paychecks, seeking entertainment in their off hours. That same year, Nevada legalized gambling at the local level, a decision that would prove momentous. On Fremont Street, the Northern Club received the city's first gambling license. Other establishments quickly followed. These early casinos were humble affairs, nothing like the palatial monuments that would later define the city. But they marked the beginning of a transformation. While other American cities struggled through the Depression, Las Vegas grew, its population swelling from 5,000 to 25,000. Then, the 1940s brought new catalysts for growth. Senator Pat McCarran, understanding the potential of his state's largest city, secured both a magnesium processing plant and a military airfield. The latter would become Nellis Air Force Base, anchoring Las Vegas's role in America's defense infrastructure. Returning World War II veterans, having experienced the desert climate during their training, chose to make Las Vegas their home. But it was the 1950s that truly birthed the Las Vegas of popular imagination. The Sands Hotel and Casino, rising from the desert in 1952, embodied this transformation. Its founder was Jake Friedman, a former cab driver with shadowy connections to organized crime. Friedman recruited Jack Entratter, a well-connected New York nightclub impresario, to manage the entertainment. Together, they created something unprecedented, a resort that combined gambling with top-tier entertainment and luxury accommodations. The Sands' distinctive circular tower changed the city's skyline forever. What had begun as a desert oasis, a mere stopping point on the railroad's march westward, had transformed itself into something entirely new, a city of dreams and reinvention, where the improbable became possible and the impossible became routine. And yet, it would take a crooner from New Jersey to take things to heights even this lascivious locality had never seen. The transformation of Las Vegas began with a phone call. A man named Frank Sinatra, his voice filled with rage, was berating Carl Cohen, an executive at the Sands Hotel and Casino, and the cause of Sinatra's fury was simple yet profound. A black couple had been denied entry to the hotel lobby. Sinatra had declared them his personal guests, but still, they were turned away. It was 1961, and Las Vegas remained a city defined by its contradictions, a place of limitless possibility for some, of closed doors for others. The Sands had taken tentative steps toward integration years earlier. In 1955, Nat King Cole performed there, but was forced to eat his meals alone in his dressing room, banned from the hotel's dining areas. 3 years later, when Sammy Davis Jr. demanded his father and uncle be allowed to stay at the hotel during his performances, management reluctantly agreed, but continued to bar other black guests. Sinatra wielded more than just his voice in this fight for change. By the early 1960s, he had acquired a 9% ownership stake in the Sands, giving him unprecedented influence over its operations. The Copa Room, where he performed with the Rat Pack, had become the hottest ticket in Las Vegas. Their shows, featuring Sinatra, Dean Martin, Davis, Joey Bishop, and Peter Lawford, were dubbed the Summit at the Sands, drawing crowds from around the world. In the wake of Sinatra's confrontation with management, Davis approached Jack Entrata, the hotel's entertainment director, demanding the Sands begin employing black waiters and busboys. The hotel complied, and other establishments began following suit. Las Vegas was beginning to change, but another transformation was coming. In 1967, Howard Hughes purchased the Sands for $14.6 million, and the eccentric billionaire's acquisition marked a fundamental shift in Las Vegas, from mob-influenced ownership to corporate control. Hughes harbored a personal dislike for Sinatra, stemming from their shared romantic interest in Ava Gardner years earlier. He imposed strict limits on Sinatra's gambling, restricting him to $3,000 a night. Under Hughes's ownership, the Sands' character began to change. The personal touch that had defined the mob era gave way to corporate efficiency. Hughes's management style was impersonal, focused on profits rather than relationships. The Nevada legislature passed the Corporate Gaming Act in 1967, removing financial background checks previously required of gaming license applicants. Hughes's apparent success attracted more corporate investors to Las Vegas. Sinatra departed the Sands that same year, but the changes he had set in motion continued to reshape the city. On a cold November morning in 1996, crowds gathered to witness the end of an era. The Sands Hotel and Casino, once the crown jewel of the Las Vegas Strip, stood empty against the desert sky. In its heyday, the property had hosted kings and presidents, had been the stage where the Rat Pack held court, had symbolized everything that made Las Vegas glitter. Now it would fall in seconds. But the Sands' decline had been years in the making. The 1989 opening of the Mirage had ushered in the age of the mega resort, fundamentally changing what visitors expected from a Las Vegas hotel. While the Mirage offered erupting volcanoes and white tigers, the Sands still traded on memories of Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. The newer properties dwarfed the Sands in both size and spectacle. Excalibur with its medieval turrets, Luxor with its beam of light visible from space. Sheldon Adelson had tried to save the Sands after acquiring it in 1989. His first move was building the massive Sands Expo and Convention Center in 1990, bringing in business travelers to supplement the gambling crowds. The casino floor was modernized, the rooms renovated. But these changes proved insufficient against the tide of transformation sweeping through Las Vegas. The property that had once defined luxury now seemed small, dated, almost quaint. Its location, once prime real estate on the Strip, had become less desirable as development pushed south. The intimate showrooms that had once been the Sands' greatest asset now seemed cramped compared to the vast entertainment complexes of the newer resorts. As the implosion countdown began that November morning, the Sands represented more than just another old hotel meeting its end. It symbolized the final break between two distinct eras of Las Vegas history. From mob-influenced to corporate-controlled, from intimate to massive, from spontaneous to carefully planned. The explosions started at the base. In seconds, decades of history began to crumble. The famous sign that had beckoned generations of visitors toppled. The tower where countless celebrities had slept folded in on itself. The showroom where the Rat Pack had performed disappeared in a cloud of dust. When the debris settled, nothing remained but memories and rubble. Where the Sands Hotel had once stood, Sheldon Adelson saw not rubble but possibility. You see, in 1997, as construction crews cleared the last remnants of the imploded hotel, Adelson's vision was already taking shape. A slice of Venice transported to the Nevada desert, a resort that would redefine what Las Vegas could be. The numbers alone were staggering. $1.5 billion in construction costs, 36 acres of prime strip real estate, 3,036 luxury suites. But numbers couldn't capture the obsession with authenticity that drove the project forward. Adelson dispatched teams to Venice to study every architectural detail. Italian artisans were flown in to paint frescoes across vast ceiling spans. Marble workers labored for months, creating intricate mosaics that would transport visitors from the desert to the canals of Venice. The construction site became a canvas for an unprecedented architectural fantasy. Rising from the dust came faithful recreations of the Doge's Palace, the Campanile Tower, the Rialto Bridge. Workers sculpted artificial canals, where gondoliers would one day sing to passing tourists. In the center, St. Mark's Square took shape, its every detail scrutinized against photographs of the original. When the Venetian opened its doors on the 3rd of May 1999, it represented more than just another Las Vegas hotel. It embodied a fundamental shift in how the city saw itself. Where the Sands had offered intimate showrooms and personal connections with entertainers, the Venetian offered immersion in a complete fantasy world. The gambling floor, once the heart of any Las Vegas resort, became just one element in a vast entertainment complex. The Grand Canal shops stretched beneath a painted sky that cycled from dawn to dusk, while visitors strolled cobblestone pathways between luxury boutiques. Convention spaces sprawled across 1.9 million square feet, acknowledging a new reality. Business travelers had become as crucial to Las Vegas as tourists. Every suite featured marble bathrooms and sunken living rooms, a level of luxury that would have seemed impossible in the Sands era. Adelson had understood something fundamental about the new Las Vegas. Visitors no longer came just to gamble or see shows. They came for experiences, for stories to tell back home. The Venetian offered them Venice without the long flight, Italy without the passport. It was theatrical, overwhelming, exactly what the new Las Vegas demanded. The resort's success proved Adelson right. The Venetian set a new standard for what a Las Vegas hotel could be, inspiring a wave of ever more elaborate themed resorts. The city that had reinvented itself countless times had done so again, trading the intimate charm of its past for the grandiose spectacle of its future. And now, we'd love to see you in the comments. Are you advanced enough in your years to have visited the Sands, or have you been to the newer hotel in that location, the Venetian? Let us know your story below, and with that said, thanks for joining us for another episode of Old Money Mansions. Cheers, until next time.